As part of our journey to simplify the processes that we have and use less tools, this video is going to show you how we structured our migration of our standard operating procedures from Google Sites across into Notion. And in this particular video, I'm going to show you how we put together a task list based on the pages that we have in Google Sites so that we had a workable project to actually get through that migration. Hi, I'm Duncan from Six5, and this is part of a video series where we've been documenting our business process transition between a set of whole different suite of tools that we've been using that have organically come together over the years into a much more purpose-driven decision to streamline the way that we do work and we organize ourselves, the team and our clients. Now, if you want to know more about why we're doing that journey and the bigger picture, watch this video. Okay, so let's look about what we're going to do today. Well, we have our Google site with our historical set of SOPs, and there's quite a lot of stuff in here. There's a lot of pages that have come together over a number of years, and I don't actually know how many are there in here. Google Sites doesn't tell you, it doesn't give you any information about what's available and how to kind of get your head around that. So I was looking for a way to actually index this and figure out how we could pull all of that, or at least a list of the URLs. That will do. We know that we're going to have to manually kind of copy and paste the information, which is actually a good thing because in that process we can standardize the way that those SOPs are written rather than them being kind of organically put together. And during that process, I'm going to give the team the opportunity to actually own those SOPs instead of it being just me, because it's been me who's done all that documentation. So in the process of looking for a way to do this, I couldn't find something. I mean, I could have probably gone and coded something, say, in a Google Apps script to crawl the page, look for all the links using the import XML function that Google Sheets has. And then kind of index them and then start going through that list to the next page and building a loop. And yeah, I could probably go to ChatGPT to help it get that written, which might be an interesting video in itself. But we already have this tool called Screaming Frog. And what I've done is I've just used that to index all of the pages that we needed. So let me just give you a quick rundown about how that works. So from the home page here, I open Screaming Frog. And this isn't for everyone, by the way. Screaming Frog is in the region of $200. SEO Spider Tool, here it is. Pricing 200 US or something similar. Oh, okay, look, the free version actually goes to 500 URLs. So if you've got less than 500 pages on the site, then you could use this with the free version. So in most cases, this will do. I actually have no idea how many we've got, so we're going to give this a go and see what happens. So as you saw, what we'll do is we'll take the URL to this Google site, and we're going to go pop it into Screaming Frog, and we're going to click Start. Now, at the moment, this page is it's blocked. It says, there we go, status code of 302. So it's found, but it's non-indexable, and it's redirected to the login page in Google. So if I open up an incognito window and we have a look, you'll see that's what happens. And that's because it's private. It's private to us internally. Now, the only way I can think of in order to actually make this work is to click on the edit here and change the publish settings. And I'm going to need to make it public for a period of time whilst we index this. So I'm going to click on Share with Others, then I'm going to change the settings in Share with Others, the published site. I'm going to make it public and save and done. And now what will happen is if I go back to Screaming Frog and click Go, it's now going to have some success and it's going to be able to have a look. And there we go, it's already producing those URLs for me. So that's great. So off we go. So I'm going to pause this video, I'll come back to this in a sec and I'll show you the end result. So now what this has given me is a whole bunch of information. Now this tool is massive overkill for everything that you're ever going to need or see, okay? Like I say, we have it already, so I've just used what we have. So I'm going to click on export, and I'm going to export this sheet. It's going to have everything that you can see in this table. I'm not interested in the other tabs. The other tabs show you, the JavaScript that's on the page, the meta keywords, the page titles, This internal tab shows me all of the pages that are internal to the site that I've just crawled. It doesn't go external to that. That one shows me all of the external links. I might come back and use that in a minute. But essentially what I really need is just this column called address and this column called H1-1. I'm not sure why it's 1-1, but that's what we need there. So now I've imported that CSV into Google Sheets so I can see what we've got, and we can see here are all of the pages. If I go to the bottom, there's 222 pages in this list that we're going to need to port across and edit on the way through. Now, like I said, I only need a couple of columns out of here, so I'm just going to dump the rest of these. Where are we? Delete those columns. So I've got the things that I need. There we go. And now I probably need to just change these column headers. And the reason for that is that when I import them into Notion, I don't want to import them into our tasks database and create two new properties that we don't actually need. What I want to do is pop these two columns into places where they're actually going to be useful in Notion. So let's drop over to Notion, have a look at our tasks database and see how we're going to do that. Okay, so in Notion, I've got a very simple tasks database. This is actually the demo one that Notion give you. So if you use the template to give you a project and tasks database, here it is. As you can see, I've done a couple of things to it, but nothing, no kind of big deal there. Now, when I do this, what I'd like to do is have the task name be the title of the page. The project is going to be our what's the project name? That's a good question. Let's see, what have we got under projects? Because we do have one called projects. Document migration, okay, so I want that to be the project. And I need to stash the URL somewhere as well. So I might use the summary column to do that so that we know what it is. So let's have a look at the way we're going to do this. So I've already created a template which has got the documentation in it. So I'm going to click on edit. And so this is our migrating from Google Sites template. What I want to do is make sure that the project, there we go, the project is already configured the way I want it to be. And we've got a whole bunch of subtasks here with regards to, well, once you get this task assigned to you, this is what you're going to do. Fairly straightforward, open the Google Site page, read and understand the SOP, follow the SOP process, which I'll cover in another video. And if there's a screenshot, copy and paste it. If there's a video, we now have a video SOP, so I now need to transcribe the video. There you go. So I'm just going to link that in there so the user knows, or the person who's accountable here knows how to go transcribe the video. Complete the steps that are in the creating new SOP, so we've got it linked twice, and then finish by editing the Google Site page and entering the Notion equivalent page at the top of the Google Site. And that way, if someone's looking at the old documentation for a time, they're going to know that this has now been ported to Notion, and actually the Notion version is the most important one. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking for. So let's go over to Google Sheets, and let's set up our column names as we need them to be. So this one is going to be our task name, N-A-M-E, and helps you get it right. So I'm just going to name that the same as I've got it in Notion, okay? It's literally called task name, okay? And then, like we said, we want to put the URL into the summary. So we'll just call this one summary, okay? And that's pretty much all I need to do. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to download this to a CSV. And I'm going to give you a caveat here. I haven't done this before, but I reckon this is just about what we want to do and how we want to do it. And there's two ways of importing. You can use the import, which is down here on the bottom left. Now that import will create a new table, but actually in this case what I want to do is merge that table with this. Now, there's 200 of them. It's not the end of the world if this goes wrong. I can kind of fix it relatively easily. It won't take long. So let's click merge with CSV, and now let's import that CSV that we've got. And like I said, we've hopefully got the task name and the URL for the summary. We've hopefully got those titles correct and everything's going to go in. So will you look at that? We've got status up of next. There is no project though. Okay, so that's not ideal, but that's okay. And so yeah, a big one here is that it's not actually given us the template either. All right, I don't know the answer to that at this point in time. I mean, we could click on that to, there we go, set up the template for it. So that's not too bad. You know, we can do those. I mean, I've got to go through and assign them anyway as we go through. So there's a manual work I've got to do for every single one of these anyway. But at least now I can create that, the template goes in and the documentation, the project get assigned to it as well. So that's pretty cool, right? And that's how you import some stuff into Notion. From here, obviously we're gonna have to go and manually review some of these. Some of these are not gonna be required anymore. Some of them are, but all of them are going to need to be assigned to a project and a priority. So let's say, for example, this one here, what I'm gonna do, the first thing I'm gonna do when I click this is the migrating from Google Sites slug template. That'll pop the template in there for me. It's going to assign the project. That kind of makes it nice and easy, and then I can assign it to myself. And then again, like the URL's already there, so I just click on the URL to open the page in Google Sites, and from there I can then start the process of copying this across and setting it up in Notion, which is cool. Now our SOP template says once you've done this, assign the SOP to someone. We probably need to think about the workflow of this particular task as well. Like once you're done, who are you going to assign that to go and actually work on it and finish it up. But I think for the time being, once you've actually done it and you've brought the content across, you can probably sign this task off and say, yes, actually I've done it. And then we take over the accountability and the reviewing process actually inside of the SOP itself in the wiki. So I hope that was helpful. This is how we're going to structure our migration from Google Sites to Notion. If it was, please like and subscribe below, and we'll see you in the next video for this journey.